My name is Sirdeaner Walker, and 4 months ago, I would not have dreamed that one day I would be testifying on Capitol Hill. I was an ordinary, working mom, looking after my family and doing the best I could as a parent. But my life changed forever on April 6, 2009. That night, I was cooking dinner when my son, Carl Joseph Walker Hoover, went to his room where I imagined he'd be doing his homework or playing his video games. Instead, I found him hanging by an extension cord tied around his neck. He was 11 years old. Carl liked football and basketball and playing video games with his little brother. He loved the Lord, and he loved his family. What could make a child his age despair so much that he would take his own life? That question haunts me to this day, and I will probably never know the answer. What we do know is that Carl was being bullied relentlessly at school. He had just started secondary school in September, and we had high hopes. But I knew something was wrong almost from the start. He didn't want to tell me what was bothering him, but I kept at him, and he finally told me. The kids at school were pushing him around, calling him names, saying he acted gay, and calling him faggot. Hearing that, my heart just broke, and I was furious. So I called the school right away, and I told them about the situation. I expected they would be just as upset as I was, but instead, they told me it was just an ordinary social interaction and that it would work itself out. I desperately wished they had been right, but it just got worse. I did everything that a parent is supposed to do. I chose a good school. I joined the PTO. I went to every parent-teacher conference. I called the school regularly, and I brought the bullying problem to their staff's attention. The school did not act. The teachers did not know how to respond. After Carl died, I could have stayed home and mourned, but instead, I've chosen to get involved, to speak out about school bullying, and I have learned in a short time that the most important thing I've learned is that bullying is not an inevitable part of growing up. It can be prevented, and there isn't a moment to lose. Since my son died, I met the mother of another 11-year-old boy who was also being seriously bullied and killed himself. And now I know that there are others. This has got to stop. School bullying is a national crisis, and we need a national solution to deal with it. That is why I'm here today. Educators need additional support and clear guidance about how to ensure that all our kids feel safe at school. Congress can make sure they have the guidance and support by making anti-bullying policies mandatory at all our nation's schools. Every school should have one, and we shouldn't rest until they do. The Safe Schools Improvement Act would help achieve this goal, and it is supported by over 30 national education, health, religious, and other organizations. I urge the subcommittees to move this legislation forward. We cannot afford to wait for another child to drop out of school, struggle academically, or even worse, take his own life before we take this problem seriously. Before I finish, I want to say one more thing. Very soon after Carl died, I heard from an organization called GLSEN, which stands for Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network. They were offering their sympathy and support, and it meant a lot to me to learn that I wasn't alone, that other families had gone through this. But I have to admit, I at first was very nervous. My son was only 11 years old. He didn't identify as gay or straight or anything like that. He was a child. Those kids at his school called him those names because they were probably the most hurtful things they could think of to say. And they hit their mark. So I didn't know what to expect. When my contact with GLSEN brought me together with a diverse group of students, some of whom had been victims of bullying, it was the National Day of Silence, a day that gets young people involved in raising bullying about bullying. They were kids from a wide range of backgrounds, and what amazed me the most was how much common ground we had. We shared our stories, and it gave me hope that the courage to speak out on behalf of my son Carl. I know that bullying is not a gay issue or a straight issue. It's a safety issue. It's about what kind of learning environment we want our children to have and how far we're willing to go to protect and teach them. That was the first day I started to believe we could do something about this problem. And believe it or not, that day would have been Carl's 12th birthday on April 17th. I'd like to think he rested just a little easier knowing that all these brave young people are out there fighting for him and all the children like him. So in closing, I want to thank you once again for the honor of this opportunity. I ask you to please do everything in your power to make sure that no other family has to go through what my family went through. Please help us to stop school bullying. Please help our children, all of our children, who are suffering in our schools today. Thank you very much.